I generally do not recommend for guys to bulk who do not have abs. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. Again, this is a conclusion I've come to after many, many, many years of coaching, coming from the background of having been far overweight in the past, also having been a slightly fluffier power lifter, not fat by normal people standards, definitely by fitness standards, and then who's been trimming down. One of the things that I've noted is it is just simply not necessary to gain body fat in order to gain muscle. Okay, I've noticed this in my own clients. I've noticed this looking at the research on recomposition, right? Look at all the research that we have on recomposition. Look at the research that we have on lean bulking. When you look at these things, it becomes apparent that it is simply unnecessary to gain any body fat to maximize muscle growth. Okay? And in fact, good muscle growth can still be seen while slowly losing fat. That's been repeatedly demonstrated in the lab into trained lifters, people who already have several years of experience. So we're not talking about rank novices. The reason we run into these problems is because people bulk and cut too fast. Okay, they bulk and cut too fast. So one of the things that I'm telling a lot of guys, if you don't have abs already, there's no reason for you to gain weight. Okay? You already have enough body fat stores and energy stores that you can probably gain muscle at pretty close to a maximum rate, at least 50% of the rate that you could overeating without gaining a single pound at that point, because you could just recomposition. Because if you don't have abs, you're probably over 15% body fat. Okay? Probably over 15. Now, obviously, the majority of Western men are way above that. They're above 20% on average. Just completely average. All right? So if you're in that situation, you would benefit from losing some body fat. Doesn't mean you necessarily need to cut. If you're at an unhealthy body fat, you obviously should cut. So, people get to that question like, well, I'm skinny fat. Well, recomposition then. If you're skinny fat, you should have zero problems recomping. So let's say, and what's skinny fat mean? Skinny fat means you are at a normal BMI, but you have less muscle and more fat than you should. Meaning your body fat is probably 20% or higher, but you're not overweight. Now people say, well, how could that be? Well, because you don't have any muscle. It's caused from being sedentary. Now, someone who's been working out is not by definition going to be skinny fat. Okay, so if you've been running a novice program for 5 or 6 months, and I do say these novice programs, they have to include lower body, because if you're only training your arms, then obviously you haven't gained any real muscle. Arms just don't have that much muscle in them, even in the biggest guys on earth. They just don't. Compared to something like your legs. Okay? Your legs have way more muscle than your entire upper body. Now people look and say, that can't be, the upper body's bigger. Yeah, but it's not muscle. It's mostly organs. It's organs, lungs, heart, rib cage, all that. That's what you're seeing. Okay? It's not muscle. There's more muscle in your legs than on the upper half of your body. So obviously in that case, I'm assuming they're training legs. But the point here being, there's no reason. In fact, you will probably, if you're at that level, you'll probably be able to gain muscle close to the same rate you would in a small surplus. Okay? So yeah, I'm of that opinion. If you're too fat, you're really unhappy with your body fat, you should cut no matter what. Okay, and I want to make that point clear. If at any point you look at your body fat and go, yeah, this is too much. If you look at yourself and go, I have 10 or more pounds of fat on my body that I absolutely need to lose to be comfortable or be happy, go ahead and do a cut. Lose that fat. Okay, do that. And then lean bulk up. If you can, but if it's less than that, then you can just recomposition. Okay, so if you only have, 8 or 10 pounds of excess body fat that you're unhappy with, that you really can't tolerate, you could just stay at the same body weight, eat lots of protein, right? Get at least 1 gram or more per pound of body weight, so that's more than we need to gain muscle. We're talking recomposition. All right, get on a good training program and just focus on gaining muscle. And you'll lose that fat. Like probably at that point, it'll take you 6 months to lose that fat while staying at maintenance calories, right? Staying at the same body weight. You don't have to really bulk or cut, because you're going to replace it with muscle. So because you're probably going to gain 8 to 10 pounds of muscle if you're a novice, new lifter. So you can do it that way. So no, they don't need to bulk. They don't need to bulk at all. If you have abs, you're lean enough to have abs, then it's probably okay to slow bulk. But you don't have to gain body fat when doing it. And we need to be clear. And I tell people, a pound a month. A pound a month is acceptable. Again, people say, but I'll spin my wheels. What happens if I access so slow? Because you still have the potential to recomposition it. And if there's still a small, tiny surplus weekly, as long as you see a slow upward trend on the scale, you're good. The only exception would be someone who's really lean, like you got deep abs. So, you're 8, 9% body fat, and you really want to gain muscle. It might be permissible to gain a little faster than that. That's okay. You could probably go up to 1.5 pounds or 2 a month. But I would never recommend anyone at this point in the game gain faster than that. Okay? That's the limit, and that's only for really lean guys who don't mind losing some of their ab a little bit. But as soon as you can't see your abs at all, stop gaining weight. And I think that's a good rule of thumb. You're going to get more muscle and be leaner and look better year-round as a result of it, and that's the point. And then you get people who are like, but this person or that person, they bulk and then they cut and they're jacked. We're not saying they won't be. I'm saying they're gaining no extra muscle for doing it. They're not ending up with a single ounce of extra muscle on their body as the end result. And then they spend 9 months fat. For what? For nothing. For no extra gains. And that's the point. That's the point I'm making with this on the topic of lean gains. And that's the one that people miss. The fact that the person gained muscle doesn't mean that the bulking is what caused it. That just caused them to gain fat, and then they trimmed back down later. Okay? They could have got the same result